And by the way, I wouldn't try to swap out the intakes due to the fact you probably have to learn your throttle body again. And it's just no point. To me, there's no point in it. Not for... The 2012 supposedly has 10 more horsepower, which I don't know where it comes from. Maybe the throttle body, maybe the intake or whatever, but I'm not even going to bother with that. Here's the 2012 intake, and that's not going in my car. I'm not putting that on my car at all. That's the 2012 alternator, which I'm going to keep that. That's 2012 starter. I'm going to keep that. But I'm going back with just the engine with 2007 everything. There wasn't nothing wrong with anything in the car. I love my car. That car, somebody cut the fucking wire. Excuse my language. Somebody cut the wiring harness. And they try to splice it back together, which, if anybody knows electrical, butt splices just ain't going to cut it. If something needs 4 ohms and you butt splice it, you're probably reading, it's just not going to get the correct reading like it's supposed to. And I'm not going to go technical because my terminology is kind of off a little bit. But I'm a Southern boy and really don't give nothing about it. So 2012 engine in a 2007 Dodge Caliber. From the top, not the bottom, left the transmission, and I started on my engine. I've been pulled the engine out the other car. I started on my engine, what was it, 5 o'clock yesterday. It was out on the ground and the other engine in by 10 o'clock last night. Now, I only had one bolt in the transmission, and of course, just one bolt on the motor mount for the motor and the side firewall, which I wasn't in no rush or nothing, but I'm not. Before I even put this engine in, check your timing chains, man. Because if you think it's easy to do a timing chain while it's in the car, it's not. How do I know? I did it. Because I did a bunch of research and they said, oh yeah, it was the timing chain that's making noise and all this. Which, yeah, I pulled the cover off the top. And the timing chain was loose because the hydraulic tensioners were all messed up. I don't know why they use hydraulic tensioners. It's dumb to me, but anyway, ain't nothing wrong with the spring. There's the timing gear. There's some brackets. I'm not a mechanic, man. This is my first engine I ever done. And I'm a boat and small engine guy. Outboard motors, got it all day long. How you know you can't do something if you never try? I feel like there ain't nothing I can't do. I was a robot technician when my hand got cut off, by the way. But, you know what? It just takes patience. It takes... If you don't know something, stop and Google it or research it or ask somebody. Don't just do it your way and end up with a bad deal. I wouldn't do that if I was you. This is the butt splices, which it didn't work for them. I mean, I wonder why, but anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. But apparently they had a wreck just this side, and the wiring harness got cut in the accident or whatever. Just peeled it back a little bit and it got cut. But I'm not changing anything but the engine. I'm not changing the throttle body. I'm not changing the intake. I'm not changing nothing but the engine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There was nothing wrong with my alternator. There's nothing wrong with my AC compressor. There's nothing wrong with anything on my car. Now, what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna upgrade my fuel rail. I will do that because the fuel rail that come out the 2012 was a lot cleaner than the 2007, and which I'm gonna keep all the extra parts, of course, like the alternator, starter, the intake, the hose. But other than that, I don't want nothing out of this car. I mean, I'm not even going to take the battery or anything, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way I seen it. And I don't have no problem with anything wrong with there's nothing wrong with my $500 car at all. I bought it for $500 because the guy says, oh yeah, it's gonna cost $2 or $3 grand to fix it, because it is. Damn subframe. Look at that. I drove it maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks. I had to go get bolts to hold my sway bar down, which, if you got kids, you're not just gonna waste your money when it's not necessary at that moment until you're financially stable. And I got 3 kids, man, and I love my kids with all my heart, and I'm not gonna put myself in a bind where I can't feed my kids, and that's just never gonna happen. But yeah, that's a nice car. But anyway, check your subframes, and the K-frame in the back does need to be changed, which I'm gonna snatch it off 2012 and put it on in 2007. There's no difference really. It's just the water, the coolant, and that's about it. It's not, anybody can do it. I feel like anybody can do it, man. If you get scared or something, just take a break for a minute. Google it or research it and then get back to it. If you feel uncomfortable about something, just stop for a minute. If you're getting aggravated, stop for a minute. When you get aggravated, man, you make mistakes. And there's no point in making mistakes. Yeah, it's a tight fit coming out, but nothing was truly damaged. And I'm satisfied with the way it came out and went in. I mean, it worked just fine. So if somebody tells you your engine got to take out, you got to take the engine out from the bottom, disconnect it from the transmission, pull it out from the top. I've never ran into an engine where I had to pull it out from the bottom. Now, I ran into transmissions. If I wasn't pulling the engine, then yeah, I had to pull it out from the bottom. Which, I'm not a mechanic, and I don't never claim to be a mechanic as far as a car mechanic. And yes, I've done transmissions and stuff like that. But it was one for my brother, but I mean, yeah, we had to pull it out from the bottom. But it is what it is. Not the whole thing. Check that out. Little rabbit come see me. Anyway, I just wanted to tell y'all, man, don't get discouraged when y'all trying to do something, man. Don't let nobody tell you can't do something. You don't know if you can't do something if you never tried. And if you, like I said, bro, when you come to a point where you're getting aggravated or you don't know where to go next, stop for a minute. Take a break. Leave for a couple hours. Come back to it. Let you come back with a fresh mind. And I'll have this engine started here in about all this. I'll have it started here in about maybe, I don't know, a couple hours, 2 hours. The thing is, I really don't want to put that on yet, but if I'm going to put that intake back on, then I'm going to have to put that back on right now, which it is what it is, because I don't want to take the intake back off just to put that back on, and I just don't want to go through all that. So, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 bolts in that, the bracket, and put it back on. When you strip the engine down, it'll come out like that. That's the 2 bolts. These are the 2 bolts I'm about to put in. You got a big bracket that hangs here, which is your alternator's about right here. Your power steering's about right here. Then, of course, your AC compressor. But don't get discouraged, and don't never let nobody tell you can't do something, man. That's to me, that's the dumbest thing in the world. For people, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I did it. I changed the timing chain, and it still made noise. So I didn't bother, I left it like this. Which, of course, it is what it is. It was still making the same noise, so why spend more time on something? I drove it for 2 days with it knocking so loud, it was crazy. I come talk to him. He said, sure, you can get the engine. I bought the engine for $300, bro. A brand new engine. Out of a 2012. It's got 36,000 miles on this engine I just put in my car. Now, I don't, at first I was trying to look at the numbers and all that, and this is '06, that one's '08, and the numbers were all different everywhere. Well, I'm about to find out if this is going to work. I know it's going to work, but anyway, I'm going to just leave that for another day. Now, they do have a plug here on a 2012. Take the plug out. Take your, a freeze plug, and put it in this one. I took mine out of here and put it in the 2012 because it had just a plug. I don't know what. Now the transmissions are different. The 2007, the coolant goes to the transmission. On the 2012, it don't. But I didn't need the 2012 transmission anyway. It's CVT and I hate them, but I ain't had no problem with mine, so it's, I guess. Now, speed sensors. Now your speed sensor on my driver's side tire had rust on it one day. Well, it made my transmission run hot. It threw all kind of codes, several codes, ABS module and all. Man, I'm not doing none of that. I'm not going through none of that. I took my wheel off, cleaned my sensor, put my sensor back in, the same exact sensor, reset my engine light, and everything went away. My transmission stopped getting hot. Everything just, man, just a simple speed sensor on this thing. It'll shut your car down, put it in safe mode and everything. But you can also pull your fuse out and take it out of safe mode. It'll drive fast as you want, but your transmission is gonna overheat after about 20 minutes. And everybody's like, "Oh, put a spacer in your intercooler." I'm not doing none of that. I'm not doing none of that, man. I must find the root of the problem. The root of the problem was the speed sensor. So if you got check your ABS and service ABS and all that light on, man, check your speeds, your wheel sensors. And they're real simple, man. It's got one bolt. I think it's a 10 millimeter. And you pull it out, wipe it off, put it back in. If you got a code reader, clear your codes. I promise you, all that'll go away. I didn't change nothing. I cleaned my speed sensor, but it made my transmission run hot, and I didn't understand it. And so I was scratching my head, and I did a flush, and I changed the filters, and I just, it went round and round, and the problem still existed. So I was like, well, it's got to do with the drivetrain somewhere. So I started with my front driver's side tire, cleaning the sensors, because that was one of the last things that popped up because I was Googling it. Because if I don't know something, man, I'm gonna figure it out. That's the fuel rail out the 2012. This is the fuel rail out the 2007. Same connection, same everything. This is a 046, whatever. And this is 048. This is I don't know the difference, but these look brand fucking new. Oh, excuse my language, man. I'm gonna edit all this out anyway. But yeah, if they say it can't be done, they're lying, and it can be done, and you can do it. I know for a fact that if I can do it with one hand, like literally, I can't even make a fist. That's what I got. I can't move my thumb. My hand's twisted. But yet, there it is. Yeah, you can call it shade true mechanic or whatever. But it don't matter. I don't care what anybody thinks about me, because I'm 40 years old. So it really don't even matter. Think what they want. That don't bother me. I'm past that already in my life. Don't forget to disconnect the battery. At least the positive side. Or either or, I guess. I don't know how they do that, or I'm not a mechanic, man. I'll never claim to be a mechanic. But when I do something on my Dodge Caliber, I will let you know. Thank you for your time.